Sour cream. You guys want to learn how to make non-dairy sour cream? I remember when I was younger, that was one of the staples in my house was sour cream, and we'd go to Costco and get those big buckets of sour cream. We'd use it on everything, breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything had sour cream in it. And when the doctor appointment I was telling you about where he made us cry telling us no more dairy products, like what am I going to do without sour cream? Like I didn't know how to eat anything without cheese or sour cream or butter on it. I just like it had never happened in my life. So finding a sour cream replacement was really important for me. And this is super easy. I think you guys are going to love it. Cashews. The cashews are the same as beans and grain. You need to soak them before you use them. So these cashews were soaked for 4 hours just in regular water before I used them, and then you just rinse them and drain them. Makes the cashews soft, and it also dissolves the enzyme inhibitors. We've got a half a teaspoon of salt and some lemons. Do you guys have a knife? Sorry. I can just, thanks.
What's the amount of cashew you divided?
2 cups of cashews here. And so I think the recipe calls for, let's see, 1 cup of cashews, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1 lemon, I think is what the recipe calls for, but I'm doubling it just because it's a lot easier in this blender. Now, if you're using a regular blender, this is going to be a little more difficult. The Vitamix will liquefy anything, so I love the Vitamix. It makes anything really creamy. I've tried doing this in a regular blender before, and it makes it a little bit chunky, but you still got the same taste. It just doesn't go as smooth and creamy. Now, I've tried this recipe on a lot of people in my test kitchen, and about half the people are fooled. They're like, wow, I wouldn't know this wasn't real sour cream if you hadn't told me. Other people that know me well and they know that I would never, feed them real dairy, then they're not fooled. They know something fishy is up. But if especially if you have it in fajitas or tacos or something else that is more flavorful, you'll never know that this is not real sour cream. It's fabulous. Now you definitely need the tamper on this because the cashews, you want it to be really creamy. You can add a little bit of water if you need to make the blades work, but you just want to add as little water as possible. So get ready for the noise. Here it comes. Oops. Nope, just kidding. Now we'll try it. So if it does that and it's not going down into the blades, you just add a little tiny bit of water. Try again. Okay, if you have a Vitamix, that sound at the bottom, when it's kind of like skipping like that, that means there's air in the bottom of the thing, so you just... Sorry, Richard. So you just bang it down like that, and that gets the air out of the bottom of the pitcher. Now, because we want to make this, anything we can put probiotics in is going to improve the health qualities of it and improve the digestibility. So we're going to put probiotics in here because we want better health, and also because when you put the probiotics in, the lactobacillus, which is the bacteria you're putting in there, as it grows, it creates a byproduct, lactic acid, and the lactic acid creates a tart flavor. So you know how sour cream and yogurt, they're kind of tart? That's because of the lactic acid that's produced by the bacteria. So not only is it going to make it healthier, but it's also going to give it that same tart quality as sour cream has in it. And again, because we're not heating this up above 105 degrees, all of this is raw. Any sour cream or dairy that you get from the store is going to be pasteurized, and once you cook your food, again, it's not going to be as good for you, and especially once you cook dairy, your body becomes very resistant to it. So this is good because it's vegan, no animal products in there, it's raw, and it's got probiotics in there. So you're actually getting like 3 really great health properties out of one thing that you're changing. Now, in some of my other classes, I've talked about the 1% to wellness, talking about, like, sometimes it's hard thinking about changing everything about your life and everything about your diet. People come to my class and they're like, wow, that means I have to change everything. They go through their cupboards, and when I tell them, you can't eat hydrogenated oil, no more white sugar, no more white flour, no more vegetable oils, no more artificial colorings, flavorings, sugars, that kind of stuff, they do the whole thing where they break down and cry because they're like, that's all I have in my cupboards, I have nothing else. And so one part of my program is called 1% to wellness. If you only change 1% of what you do per week, that means in 1 year you've changed 50% of your habits to be healthier habits. In 2 years you've changed 100% of your dietary habits and your lifestyle, and in 2 years you've got a whole new life that's healthy, and you only have to do 1% a week. That means 1 out of every 100 decisions you make in a week, you just have to make a healthy decision, and that'll be your 1%. And when I explain it like that, that's really doable, and people can kind of grab onto that and say, okay, I can do that. It's not like I have to just do this massive overhaul today of my life. I just have to do 1% this week. And I think doing things like the sour cream, like that's something that's easy. You can make it in advance. You can see that it only took a couple minutes to make it. You have to think ahead a little bit to soak the cashews, for a little while. But other than that, it just takes several minutes to make, and you've got a really healthy condiment that you can just keep in the refrigerator and use all week, and you just have to make it once, and it's good for a long time. And it's just one thing that you can change. Now, I know when I started eliminating dairy out of my diet, before that I had sore throat, swollen glands, and sinus problems for like 5 years. Like my sore throat had not gone away in 5 years. And I'd gone to a whole bunch of different doctors, and they didn't know what was the problem. And as soon as I eliminated all dairy out of my diet, my sore throat was gone, my swollen glands were gone, and my sinus problems diminished just from eliminating dairy out of my diet. And so this sour cream was really a lifesaver for me and other people who love sour cream but can't have dairy and are having some of the same issues. Okay, so I just put 2 probiotic capsules in there that I got at the health food store. And stir it up. Now, when you culture stuff, again, the lactobacillus grows at room temperature. So you just need to let this sit covered on the counter for at least 24 hours. And again, this is all in the recipe book, the directions how to do it. Lactobacillus is anaerobic, which means it grows it grows without oxygen. So if you have a lot of air coming to it, the lactobacillus isn't going to grow properly. So you need to cover it really tightly, make sure it's airtight, sit it on the counter for 24 hours. It's going to get nice and tart, and then you just cover it and put it in the refrigerator and use it just like regular sour cream.